It's just sad that now there's just one shadow and not two. Hi, I'm Chris, and I'm starting a new little playlist of my painting through grief, and just going through some things with you that I've come across myself and some things that I found difficult. And one of them, like in the intro there, was walking alone, and I found that really hard. That sometimes, Rob and I used to go out for walks. We live in the countryside. We went around for walks around the area, and I haven't done it because I feel very conscientious of being just me. And sometimes I actually do go out. If I've been out, it's not that I haven't, and it's been 4 years, it would have been sad if I hadn't, but I'd go out with a camera. I use a big camera because of doing my art animals, and I go around for reference pictures, and it's almost like my safety net, my big camera. Should have brought it with me, shouldn't I? And then I paint, and this is my normal setup for painting, whereas I know I did them on the table last time, but honestly most of my artwork has been here, sat with my cushion as my easel. I've actually got charcoal with me today. On the table here I've got my paints, and I've actually got a blanket on my sofa so that I don't get paint on it because I'm quite messy. So yeah, I've got lots of paints in that, and we're going to just have a little potter around at sketching and things whilst we chat. I tend to walk the garden. We can walk by the river, and we can walk around the pond area, which is all beautiful, and it's in my safety net because it's just most of the time it's just me. And yeah, that is my safety net bit. It's the bits away from here. If I leave the property, even just walking down the lane, you just feel so conscientious of just being you. And sometimes I think, oh, maybe I'll find a new walk and go somewhere else, but I don't know the area well enough to just walk locally. So yeah, walking on your own is hard. Do you find it hard? Have you managed to get out? Do you go out on walks? I just feel I need to get out of the house because Rob and I were out of the house a lot. We worked away from home, and if we spent more than a week at home, it was quite unusual. But now it's that walking on your own and thinking people are looking at you, thinking, oh, poor person, she's on her own. And yet other people do, because they are on their own as well. And it is crazy. I know. But my trusty little thing, my little companion, is my camera. And I go out with my SLR or DSLR or whatever they are nowadays. And I always think it's my safety net, is to actually have my camera, and all of a sudden I have a purpose for being where I am. So what do? Do you go out for walks? Do you find it awkward? Maybe you have a dog. I had a friend's dog last year, and that made it easier. So yeah, that does make things a bit easier, and maybe I should get a dog, but it's not being something on the agenda. I'm sketching in my sketchbook, and I think having a sketchbook is good. Sometimes I do sketch what I'm going to do in bigger pieces of art. Sometimes I just stay in the sketchbook because I've just decided that's all I wanted to ever do with that subject. This is out the front of my garden. I have a bit of a walled garden, and one day I'd gone out and it was so pretty, the colouring, because it had been wet. The wall was quite dark behind, and the terracotta pots and the green leaves just looked amazing, which made me think that needs sketching. And right now, this is not very seasonally together. There's primroses out there which look really, really pretty. So I thought, oh, I'll just go and add them to it. But the fern isn't out. That's later in the year. But this is art. We can do what we like. So I'm going to get a bit of colour on this. And it would be nice if you were sketching along or thinking about it. You can watch and then think, I could do something like that as well. Because I do think it gives the mind monkeys somewhere to hang out away from you and give you peace if you have time to concentrate on something so much that you forget that they're there. I don't know if that's very real terracotta, is it? We'll see how it dries. So I just want to get that in. The one thing with watercolour, I'm leaving gaps for it, for the leaves, but you can actually lift off as well, so I probably will end up doing that. My palette was already very messy, wasn't it? I want to get that darkness behind. The pad I've got actually isn't very good watercolour paper, so I don't want to overly wet on wet. It'll take the wet, but it won't. If I drench it, it will. It's not the best. But if you're sketching and you're doing this, you don't really need to be spending lots of money on watercolour paper because it's not always necessary. It's actually got lighter stone in the front, so So I'll just pull that wall effect down maybe here. I'm just putting an undercoat of everything on. Some people will do a pen and wash. I tend to do the wash and pen. And the fact is, it's what you feel happy with, what you feel comfortable with. You could just do it in pencil. Primroses are white, aren't they? My stones in the front are a bit of a mixture, actually. I think I need to make sure that's dry before I try lifting out some of those green areas for the leaves. She says, and then she's impatient and just goes for it. It is sometimes easier to pick out bits rather than go round them. I think this is rosemary, possibly. Whatever it is, I've not looked after it very well, and it's not in very good condition, if I'm honest. The one thing I do find, if I get out into the garden, even if it's only in the garden, there are days that I just walk down to the river. We've had this year, we've had the geese on. The herons are still around. I scare them off every time. Even though I'd like to get a good photo of them, it never quite happens. That's just run into there, which I don't really want it to. That's because I didn't wait for it to be dried. Let me just pull that off. And it is nice. Now, I went down yesterday thinking, it's good to get out, there's a bit of sunshine, go on out, have a walk. And there was no wildlife. They'd all disappeared. I know the geese eventually, they don't stay all summer here, they go on somewhere else. And it just felt really quiet. So where I thought it was going to do me good yesterday, it didn't. And this is what happens with walking and being out on your own. Some days it's helpful, and some days it doesn't make me feel better at all or anything like that. So yeah, just this all on your own bit is tricky. Totally tricky. And then other days I'll go down and I'll sit down near the river. Sometimes I take my coffee, sit on a tree stump and have my coffee and look out over to the pond and over the river. And that's peaceful. A lot of depth into some of those greens, actually. So see if we can get a little bit. Oh, that's too dark on that bit, I think. So that's all dry now. So I'm just literally going to scribble on here. And I've got some fine liner pens. I picked this set up in TK Maxx. It was £5 for the pack. But you know something? If you can't get hold of fine liners, I just have them in because I use them anyway. A biro is actually perfectly fine. Or even a gel pen, they're good too. I don't want it to be sort of paint by numbery, neat outlines or picture book. It's really, this is my sketching. It's good to be free. These ferns, I like ferns because, right, so your fern has the spine, and then on each one of these there's little leaves. I'm a bit of a scribbler. I'm supposed to go shorter there, aren't I? I'm kind of doing them at different angles just to give it a look that it's actually curving around as well. I think I've gone off the green bit, but you know, it doesn't matter. There's green under there. Another thing for scribbling out is really good as well is actually a fir tree. I did a whole thing on fir trees and just did them as scribbly leaves and things. I don't even know what that one was, and it missed its green, but it's fine. These are more your normal leaves of whatever a normal leaf is, because that actually doesn't make sense, does it? They're all leaves in their own right, and they're all different sizes and shapes. And you know, even doing shapes, taking the shapes, you can do quite an abstract picture with them. I've done that. I did a couple of courses with doing abstracts. Abstract I do struggle with, but you know, it is fun in its own way as well. Sometimes it's just about getting some marks on a piece of paper, seeing how colours work together. That's always the fun, actually, to be honest. These little flowers have a little yellow middle, and I couldn't really work out on my photo. I should have looked better how the petals went. They're quite white, the primroses. I also look a bit more yellow than that. Maybe maybe get more yellow ones. I don't know. I need to go and have another look now, don't I? That shows me being very observant. Rob and I used to do is go to the coast a lot. I always find the coast very therapeutic normally. I'm also feeling the best. It's been a funny start to the year this year, despite being so far on, but that's just so many other things that are going on too, and building businesses, finances. Ooh, yeah, that's all. You know, all these are things. Are all things you've got to kind of learn, aren't they? Maybe I wasn't so good at it in the first few years, but so yeah, the beginning of the year was quite tough. And one day I had to think, do you know what? I'm going to go down to the coast. It was a weekend, and weekends always are the worst, aren't they? I don't know whether you find that. Because people are always with family or with somebody, and you're not. That is now not become a rosemary, because those leaves aren't very rosemary, are they? But that's not the point, is it? So yeah, I went down to the coast, got there. Oh my goodness. And you know, you forget Sunday. Everyone was out with the dogs. It was beautiful. It was probably one of the nice days. There were a few ones that we've had. And yeah, everyone was couples with dogs. And I went out of the car and I went for a walk. I just was like, I can't do it. There are times when you can feel, and I think we're, you know, it's perfectly normal to almost feel envious or jealous of other couples that they still have each other. How do you feel about that? Have you ever looked at people and think, that seems unfair, when you're trying to get out and do your walk on your own and everyone else has someone? So yeah, that day I just came home and thought that was a silly day to try and do the coast. Right, so now I'm just going to try and get a little bit more in the line of shading in. Some people do nice cross-hatching and nice and neat, which is a patience game, and it's good when you have the patience. But I'm going to put a bit more colour in it, but I'm also going to go into it being a little bit of a thicker pen. I don't want to completely colour the whole lot in. I want some of that paleness, there's me making words up again, the pale showing through. Just gives it a little bit more depth. I need to throw my plants well, because I've not created a rosemary at all, have I? I'm really just spotting it in here. Primroses definitely have a... I'm not even sure if they're pale yellow. Shall we make them yellow? By going in layers, even though I'm going now just in yellow, because there's green already under there, it's going to come up as just a bright green. So here it's not a case of filling all the leaves in, it's just giving a few shades. It gives it a little bit of a lift, a little bit of texture. The aim isn't to completely colour them in, it's just to create a little bit of interest. Those edges are quite strong, actually. A bit more green on those leaves. Just odd stalks and nothing on. It's my plant that's kind of hanging on for dear life, probably. I'm not very good at the gardening bit. To be honest, neither of us were, so that's not something that I've not learned. It's just something that we didn't particularly do well, and hence it's still not very good. I think I'd have liked a little bit more dark in the background, a little bit darker, but it's just a sketch, and maybe one day I might make a proper piece of art with it on some watercolour paper, with a little bit of growth in between there. You know, when the weeds start coming up and you're trying to pull them out in stone, it's not always the best. I almost feel as though I just want to have something with a little bit of more colour in it. Maybe that's too much. Quite often one of my go-tos is the pink. It's always it's one that you can add to the shadows and give the whole picture a little bit of a lift. Okay, so I've been and dried it again, so we're completely dry. I've got a slightly thicker pen, and this is not to go around all of it, but just in those dark areas. And sometimes you just need a heavier line. You could just scribble a heavier line on top of each other. So it's just a few depth ones. I don't want to draw in all the stones, but just the impression of some of them. This is a wall at the back, and it's a stone wall. It's not very even, but just to give it that look of that stone, I think. Okay, the one last thing I really want to do on here, just try it out. So this is all experimental, is to do a wash over the leaves in yellow, because it really does lift it if you can just do a wash. I'm not sure if the paper will take it, but let's just try. So it's quite watery, and by just giving that wash, it can really bring those leaves to life. And the washes, I tend to do it in yellow, in the lemon yellow, because it's opaque. No, I also the other way around. It's translucent. You can see through it. You're not going to cover anything up. You're just going to let it shine through. So it's giving it depth. That's dirty water, isn't it? If you were at one of my workshops, I'd be cleaning your water for you. Actually, I might even just do a bit of that on those pots as well. Kind of just brings it to life, doesn't it, by adding that in. And then the centres of those little primroses are actually quite yellow, aren't they? Maybe that's the wrong yellow now, because it's not strong enough. There we go. Put blobs in. Quite like that, to be honest. You know, for just a quick sketch and just something to sit and do. I would sit with a film on or some music on in the evening, concentrating on my artwork. And it helps me get through the evening. So it's good to have a little frame of it. What do you think? That was quite fun, wasn't it? Walking anywhere, just getting out anywhere on our own, is tough. I've never tried holidaying properly on my own. I've been away on business, but not to do a proper holiday. And I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe you've already done it, who knows? But that being on my own, sometimes it's the conscientiousness of it. Let me know how you feel about it. And thank you for joining me. We'll see you again next week.